When Barcelona were still banging on the door but couldn't find a way past a stubborn Real Oviedo defense, the game suddenly turned on its head in the 70th minute. Out of nowhere, Frenkie de Jong unleashed a pass from midfield that felt almost supernatural, an outrageous curve that seemed to bend both space and time, landing perfectly at the feet of Lewandowski. It wasn't just an assist, it was a statement. A living, breathing answer to the question Manchester United fans have been asking for years. Why have the Red Devils chased de Jong for so long? That one moment captured everything United have longed for: composure, vision, and the rare ability to change the entire course of a match with a single swing of the boot. And yet, that same moment made the news breaking out of Spain feel even more bitter for United supporters. Just as the world was still gasping at that masterpiece of a pass, word came through. De Jong had agreed to extend his Barcelona contract until 2029. Any lingering dream of seeing him in red had been crushed in an instant. The truth is, United's pursuit of Frenkie de Jong has been a saga stretching across years, across managers. They had been watching him since his Ajax days, when he was still just a raw diamond. But his heart was already set on Barcelona. It felt like fate might finally intervene in the summer of 2022. The stars were aligned. Erik ten Hag, who had molded de Jong into a star in Amsterdam, was now in charge at Old Trafford, and his grand rebuild had de Jong at its very core. United even put 85 million euros on the table, an offer Barcelona were ready to accept as they struggled through financial chaos. All roads seemed to point toward Manchester. But United overlooked the most important factor of all: the player's will. Despite the pressure from his club, despite the riches of the Premier League, de Jong never once showed a desire to leave. His dream had always been Barcelona. That refusal wasn't just a career choice, it was a message, a declaration of loyalty, of a boyhood dream that meant more than money or glory. United had Barcelona's approval, but they never had de Jong's. Time kept slipping by, but the flame of hope at Old Trafford never truly died. With the arrival of Ruben Amorim and the urgent need to rebuild United's midfield, Frenkie de Jong's name resurfaced once more, echoed by fans who have never stopped dreaming. Former United chief scout Mick Brown has never hidden his admiration for the Dutchman. To this day, he insists de Jong possesses a brand of midfield brilliance United simply don't have. Man United have tried to sign de Jong before. When he was at Ajax, they had a look at him, but he chose to go to Barcelona. And since then, they've tried to sign him from Barcelona as well, but could never agree a deal. He's a very good player. He showed that again when he played against Newcastle. I thought he had a really good game. So it doesn't come as a surprise that Man United are looking at him again. United saw the uncertainty around de Jong's contract talks and allowed themselves to dream again. But what they failed to realize was that those delays weren't cracks in the relationship, just the natural back and forth between a devoted player and a club that cherishes him. And then came the final blow. Mundo Deportivo delivered the news that extinguished the last flicker of United's hope. Frenkie de Jong wasn't leaving. Instead, he had agreed to extend his Barcelona contract until 2029. Even more striking, de Jong accepted a pay cut to ease the club's financial troubles. That gesture said everything. It spoke of loyalty, of devotion, of a bond between player and club that no outside offer could ever break. While Manchester United are still struggling to rediscover their identity, desperate for a world-class star like de Jong to build around, Frenkie himself has become the embodiment of Barcelona's values and DNA. He isn't just a brilliant footballer, he's part of the club's very soul. To understand why United covet him so fiercely, all you need to do is watch him play. De Jong is the complete midfielder, a modern regista who can truly do it all. His performance against Real Oviedo told the story perfectly. With the score locked at 1-1, Hansi Flick sent him on after halftime. And in just 45 minutes, de Jong changed everything. Then came the 70th minute, the moment of genius. From deep in midfield, he delivered a ball that carved through Oviedo's packed defense, bending through the air with a precision that felt almost impossible. It wasn't a simple cross. It was a work of art, vision, technique, and spatial awareness rolled into one. It was the kind of pass that makes you tip your hat, whether you're a fan or a rival. But that was only part of his impact. De Jong finished with a staggering 98% passing accuracy, created 2 big chances, and won every single duel he contested. He was both architect and warrior, the brain and the heart of Barcelona's midfield. After the game, Hansi Flick could only admit, he's so important. In the second half, we clearly had more control and rhythm with him on the pitch. That's the very standard United are craving. They have Casemiro, the seasoned destroyer, but his peak years are behind him. They have Ugarte, full of energy but still lacking finesse. What they don't have is a conductor, a player who can dictate tempo, glide past the press with elegance, and deliver killer passes when it matters most. De Jong is the answer to all of that. He is the perfect blend of Ajax Amsterdam's DNA and Barcelona's philosophy. Intelligence, technique, mastery of the ball. No wonder former Netherlands coach Louis van Gaal once called him an unbelievable talent. Frenkie de Jong's decision to stay at Barcelona was more than just a blow to Manchester United's transfer plans. It was a bitter reminder of where the club now stands. The days when Old Trafford was the dream destination for the world's brightest stars are long gone. Today, the Red Devils find themselves fighting, and often losing, against rivals who can offer a stronger sense of history, style, and most importantly, a dream players actually want to live. De Jong chose to remain where he truly belongs, at a club that values him, where he's the centerpiece of a long-term project. The Dutch midfielder chose to build a legacy at Camp Nou, rather than become another expensive mercenary in United's never-ending rebuild. Now, United are forced to pivot. Names like Carlos Baleba and Adam Wharton are being mentioned. Talented youngsters with promise, no doubt, but they're not Frenkie de Jong. That's the difference between signing potential and signing world class. It's also an admission that United, right now, cannot reach the very top shelf of talent. Their pursuit of de Jong, then, wasn't just a failed transfer. It was a reflection of the gap in stature and allure they must still work so hard to close. 7 years have passed since de Jong joined Barcelona in the summer of 2019. At 28, he is entering the prime of his career. He has become indispensable, an ever-present pillar no matter the coach. His decision to stay isn't just a victory for Hansi Flick, or President Joan Laporta, or Sporting Director Deco. It's a triumph for the very philosophy of Barcelona. They have kept not only a technically brilliant midfielder, but one who embodies love, loyalty, and commitment to the badge. For United, the search goes on. But every time they look at their midfield, at the lack of cohesion, the shortage of creativity, the ghost of Frenkie de Jong will haunt them. They once came so close, but they failed. Not because of money, but because of something far greater, a dream. The dream of Frenkie de Jong is alive and shining at Camp Nou. And for Manchester United, it remains painfully out of reach. The curtain has fallen. The Red Devils are left only as spectators in de Jong's fairy tale.